Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there is having themselves a great day. Got 3 key points to manifesting that a lot of people, I think, try to make manifesting way more difficult than it is. Recently, been working on manifesting something that is very scarce right now in the state I live in, and there's a lot of hoops that required to jump through in order to accomplish or manifest this particular thing. With great effort, I have gone through this process and have finally managed to manifest that which I was seeking. I don't want to get into specifics, but it doesn't much matter. It works for anything. Anything you're trying to manifest that's scarce, anything you're trying to manifest that may be a little tricky, these 3 keys will make an enormous difference. And you might be surprised that they are not probably what you have been focused on most. Now, the 3 things, we're going to start with the first one, and the one I consider to be least important, which is going to surprise most of you. The technique. The technique is probably the least important thing out of all of this manifesting mojo, all this mumbo jumbo. First off, law of attraction is one of like 12 spiritual laws. So it is not the only component that really goes into trying to create and manifest our lives. The techniques are meant to get our minds focusing in a particular direction, but with a lot of people, the techniques are done so much and they're done to the point of trying to change the doubts we have. And the problem is the doubts are actually significant, and the technique itself does not necessarily deal with those doubts the way we would want. And so those doubts will create a lot of inconsistencies in our manifestation, or sometimes cause us to fail completely. Now, again, is it the technique, or is it the confidence? Is it the understanding that this is how we manifest? It's really more down those paths than the technique. For me, and this is what I did with my recent manifestation, is I literally said to myself and out loud to the universe, basically, I'm like, I am manifesting this. This is something I'm going to get. I decided that that's what I was going to do. I made it an indication or an intention. I decided I wanted to manifest a particular thing. I didn't so much imagine it in my hand. I didn't go through all this mumbo jumbo per se. I didn't sit down and have a meditation. Now, when I say I didn't intentionally visualize it, there's a lot of daydreaming that often goes along with these things, where I do spend time seeing myself with this thing, or see myself in the same proximity as this thing, or all the things that go into it, all the different extra stuff I'm going to have to purchase to go along with this. So I did visualize it, and it's just kind of seeing it because, again, I know that if I can see it in my mind, it's real. And if I can't see it in my mind, then I need to spend some more time kind of looking at it, trying to see it, those kinds of things. If you can see it clearly in your mind, it's yours. Have the intention, make it yours, and then jump to the next 2 steps. Now, the second step, and probably one of the most important, the next 2 are the most important. The second step is ego. Ego will destroy everything that you're trying to accomplish. Ego is the thing that does it for a reason. Ego is the thing that wants something for a reason. There's a lot of people that have this desire to be with someone, for example, and maybe you've gone through a breakup, maybe someone doesn't quite know how they've hurt your feelings, a whole number of different things around that. Ego is the part that says, I want them to know what it feels like. Ego's the part that's mad at them and wants them to behave differently. Ego's the part that feels like you've got it figured out and they don't. Ego's the part that gets us in trouble. Ego is one of the most dangerous and damaging aspects of who we are. It is the part of us that wants to believe we are the best. It's the part of us that wants to believe we deserve everything. It's the part of us that doesn't really care about other people or what other people think. Ego is one of the things that if you're doing something for ego reasons, you will find failure most of the time. Ego will get you in trouble. For men especially, ego is the thing that causes us to do stupid things that almost invariably get us in huge amounts of trouble. Ego will lead you astray. Ego is that voice in your head that says, I'm not good enough, they're not good enough. Ego is the voice in your head that is saying things that definitely are not from love. They're not loving. They're negative against you, negative against someone else. They're maybe putting you down a little bit, maybe making someone else seem better. Well, you're pretty good, Dan, but that person's really good. That's your ego. Your ego is not helping you. Your ego is, I've talked about in the past, where you're trying to discuss with your crew and get your crew on board so they'll do what we all need to do. Like, I'm sailing a ship, I'm the captain, and I've got a crew. If I'm constantly telling my crew I'm not good enough, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know where I'm going, the crew is definitely, one, not going to have faith in me, and two, is going to make sure they can do everything in their power to make me, the captain, happy. And if I'm unhappy and that's what I'm manifesting, my crew is going to help keep that unhappiness level going. And to the contrary, if I'm doing this for the right reasons, I'm doing this because this is best for me and for all involved, I'm doing this because this is something I'm really interested in, it's something I really like, rather than trying to do something in comparison to another. And I really feel like that's where we start to get ourselves in trouble, is when we start to compare ourselves to other. So ego is one of those things that you have to get in check. Manifesting is a process. Becoming good at manifesting means you've worked on your internal self. If it was just easy, and if it was just about just think the thoughts in your head and everything will happen, wouldn't everybody be successfully manifesting easier? Wouldn't they? No. They would. So obviously there's a little bit more to it. There's a lot of people out there that are doing the techniques, and then email or comment or whatever how the techniques aren't working. It's not just the techniques. It's three things. Techniques, yeah, you got to believe them. That's important. Two, making sure you get your ego out of the way. Do everything in your power to work on the ego. There's all sorts of different videos. There's meditations. There's working through chakras. There's just paying attention to how you react. How often you point the finger out at someone and say, you're this way or that way. Again, an ego thing. You got three fingers pointing back at you. Pay attention to why you've got three fingers pointing back at you. What is it that I'm projecting onto these other people? Or what is it that's me pushed out onto these other people? That's the ego. Because the ego is going to look at it like I'm the best one in the room, when in reality, if I actually looked in the mirror, I would realize I've got some flaws that I need to work through. Work on those flaws, your manifesting will get significantly better. Finally, second and third are the two most important in my opinion. The other one is being good to people. In the process of what I was manifesting, one, again, it's something that's challenging to manifest. Two, there's a lot of rules and guidelines that go around how all of this works, how you bring it into your life, and how you've got to go about this, and frankly, what versions are okay to have. So in this process, I made some mistakes. It required some help from people. Now, Goddard talks about it frequently, how I don't try to influence those people directly. I didn't worry about that. I was focused on the manifestation. I was focused on doing it for the right reasons. And third, I believe it's very important to be good to other people, especially when it comes to customer service. I've done customer service for eons. For over 25 years, I've done customer service. That is something I'm very good at. And when you treat people kind, when you treat people as you'd like to be treated, when you treat others with dignity and respect, you get the same thing back to you. What you send out comes back. If you've got dark in your heart, dark will return unto you, unto the sender. If you're saying things in your mind that are bad about others, bad things are coming back to you. It's a guarantee. What you send out comes back, period. Period. One of the most important things that comes, and when it comes to manifesting, is making sure what we're sending out is of light, is of love, is of positive thoughts, is of the things that we actually want to experience versus not what we want to experience. So many of us spend time imagining realities that are bad, imagining failing. I keep imagining that I'm not going to be able to be with this person I want because they're not going to like me. Those are the things that will get you in trouble because you're, one, not thinking well of yourself. And so when you're not being good to number one, everyone else is going to perceive that you're not good. So, got to love yourself first, yes. And that's not, I'm not saying in an ego way. I'm saying in enough that you love yourself to guarantee to give yourself the best that you can be. Not where you're comparing yourself to others and saying, I'm better than you. That's more ego. Desiring to have good things for my life, that's not ego. That's our God-given right. That's what we're here to do. That's what we're here to learn. Now, being good to others is much like being good to yourself, because how you treat others is how you treat yourself. What you do to yourself, you do for another. The golden rule: treat others as you'd like to be treated yourself. When you do that, you will find people open up to you in ways that you never imagined. You'll find that when you finally manifest that face-to-face with this person that you're desiring, maybe you're trying to manifest a relationship with somebody. Now, if it's someone you don't know, great. The easy part, truly, and this might be where you get a little hung up, but the easy part is setting up a situation where you can finally meet this person face-to-face. I don't care if they're famous. I don't care who or what. Now, if they're in a whole other city, there's some other logistical issues that need to be worked out. But ultimately, manifesting a face-to-face with someone is not that difficult. What we do once we are face-to-face, that is where a lot of us fall short. If we've got a lot of dark in our heart, if we've got a lot of anger in our heart, if we're upset with this person that we're trying to meet face-to-face, that's going to come out when we meet face-to-face. And if the individual that you're talking to is someone that you love and adore, or want to be with, or want to have a relationship with, yet you're not really giving them your best effort, or maybe you've thought a lot of negative thoughts about them, or maybe you're angry inside of them right now, that's coming through, and that will keep you from accomplishing what it is that you're manifesting, or that will cause blockages. I had some blockages pop up, ordered the wrong thing that had to be returned, which again, trying to work through all that, and then contacted the people that I needed to do the return to and said, hey, I guess this one wasn't okay. I need to get one that is. I still want to work with you guys. I'm sorry. I don't know what I'm doing. I apologize. I fell on that sword. And you know what? Everybody was willing to help me. Everybody. And here I am. I think tomorrow it should be showing up in the mail. Finally. So putting the effort forward, being kind to other people, not letting your ego dictate what and why you're doing what you're doing. Understand that the thoughts you have are creative for sure. They are doing manifestation. And when you daydream in a positive way, that's also helping you manifest. But the technique itself, the sitting down and imagining something, isn't so much as effective as it is. Literally, I just said, I didn't at first just sit there and imagine it, but at first it was like, this is what I'm going to do. Once I made that intention, other things began to happen. Started having ideas about it. I started imagining, if I'm actually choosing to do this, my life's going to have this. So then you start spending time imagining it. You naturally work through those processes. So yes, that's why it's one of the 3 legs of this particular stool of manifesting. It is important. But when we doubt everything we're doing, when we treat people poorly, when we're doing these things because of bad ego, all the technique in the world will not accomplish what it is you're after. And if you treat everybody you meet horribly, yet you do perfect techniques and your ego's in check, you're still going to have a hard time manifesting what it is you desire. If you treat people really good and you do great manifestation techniques, but it's all based off of ego, again, you're going to find it's very difficult to manifest what it is you desire. These 3 things, when done in check, when what you're sending out into the universe is good and positive, you will get good and positive back. When you're doing it for the right reasons, ego, when you're doing it for the right reasons, things work faster and better for you. Why? Because you're doing it for the right reasons. You're doing it to positively impact as many people as possible. And when you are doing the techniques, if you're seeing it in your mind, if you're believing it's happening, if you're making sure your inner monologue and inner dialogues are supporting the direction you're going, you will find great success. And when we do all 3 of these perfectly, you can manifest things very quickly. Literally, I turned my life around in about 2 weeks. And a lot of that was just figuring out, this one path I tried isn't working. Let's try something else. And the second I did that, I made a call to a friend. I said, hey, I got a real quick non-work question I want to talk to you about real quick. That got the ball rolling, made me realize how easy this was. And I started reaching out to a couple places. Bada bing, bada boom, I'm on my way. And again, being good to people along the way, having friends, being kind, all of these things will play to your strengths. So if you're trying to manifest a relationship with someone, make sure you've got all the right mojo going on inside, because you will manifest that face-to-face. But if you still carry a bunch of dark in your heart, if you're still carrying anger inside of you, it's not going to work when you're face-to-face. They're going to see that. They're going to see that portion of you that's dark right now. If we can get rid of that, things will work. So if you're trying to manifest somebody, as a last little point here, if you're trying to manifest somebody that maybe you're having some hard times with, maybe you've broken up with, maybe you're still a little angry with, we've talked about Ho'oponopono. It's a great technique. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And one other one. Do that. That works great. I've talked about astral letters. Do a search on my channel for astral letters. Again, a great technique. I've used them. I've literally seen things turn around instantly in my life, and I've had a bunch of people tell me they've had the same experience. Astral letters, A-S-T-R-A-L, letters. Do a search on my channel. You'll find the video. It's a great video. It's a great technique. I learned it from my teacher eons ago, and I have used it countless times, especially with family. Had issues with my mom, had issues with my brother. I have used this technique many a time, and with friends, and have had immediate success. I'm talking immediate, like within minutes, oftentimes, of finishing these up. I've gotten text messages, I've gotten phone calls. I've just instantly felt better about the situation, and it made it easier for myself. These things will make an enormous difference in your life and in your manifestation if you start to pay attention to them. These three things can make the biggest difference. It's Dan Radio Style.